Hi, my name is Cece, and on behalf of Scrapbook Central, welcome to another Tutorial Tuesday. So this Tuesday we're starting a new segment on our Tutorial Tuesday. Every first Tuesday of the month we will showcase a KaiserCraft unit made of MDF. They're mostly storage units. Some of them are quite big, some of them are small. And so today I'm doing the 6-drawer wide unit. It comes with all those pieces. And these are the drawers. Now the drawers are made of very thick chipboard. The whole thing is very easy to put together. Each of the pieces have a picture of the unit decorated or covered with paper, and then the smaller one here has the unit without anything on it. So you actually see where the grooves are. So it gives you a basic idea of how to assemble the box. But like I said, they're very, very simple to put together. A good thing to do before you start assembling or painting or decorating is to do kind of like a mock-up assembly of the piece. And this will just give you a guideline as to what to watch for when you're actually gluing your pieces together. So I've laid down all the pieces. I kind of have a general idea of how it should look, and this is the backing piece, but I put it flat because we have an open unit, so it's easier for me to flip it onto its back. So this is the backing piece. Obviously I've got 2 notches here, so I was looking for a piece that has 2 notches, so this will go right here, and this is our shelf, like the middle part. Now I'm going to bring in the side pieces, and right away I have an alarm. You see this? This is supposed to be flat. So this gives me a good indication that I need to flip it to make it fit so that it is flush with the other piece. So like I said, this mock-up assembly is very useful. Now I know that when I'm building the actual piece, the final piece, I'm going to have to be on the lookout for these 2 side pieces so that they are the right way up. So this one's fine, and this will go up like this, and this one like so. So now that I have it all assembled, sort of, it's time to determine where I need to paint. Most of the unit will be covered up with paint, with paper, but I don't want these raw edges to show. This obviously I will not cover with paper, so I will use a paint to do that. And I also want to paint the inside of the box. Although we do have drawers that will go in, when one drawer is out, I don't necessarily want to see that raw color as well. So just to make it neater, I will paint all the insides, and I will also paint the underneath here, the bottom, because I'm not going to bother covering it up with paper. So bottom, inside, and all these edges. We lost the backing. And don't mind this, I was swatching some paints. Alright, so I've got all my pieces painted now, and as you can see I left most of the tabs bare just so that I don't have excess paint when I put these inside the grooves. It's just going to slide better. So I'm going to reconstruct before I start gluing because of these 2 pieces. I want to make sure that I have them on the right side. This is my middle piece. That's a no-brainer. Like so, and I'm thinking I have some swatches that didn't really get covered up with the paint, so I want to make sure that this is at the bottom, and this will be on top, and this will be covered. So like this, okay. And so this goes this way. And this one that way. Okay. So I'm going to remove my pieces like so. And I have PVA glue here with a sponge applicator. And I'm going to put a bit of glue on the tabs here and on the front and the sides. And this is just going to help with the structure, just to make sure that it does not move. So I'm just going to apply the glue here and here. And on the other side as well. Okay, and I'm going to pop that in like so, and just hold it for a little bit. If you have excess glue, you can just wipe it. Okay, so for the side pieces, I know that my piece is going this way, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this tab and also on the bottom piece here. Slide this into place and make sure that it's flush with the bottom. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and then I'll put the end pieces, or the bottom and the top. So now that my sides are dry, I'm going to flip my piece over here. I've already gone ahead and put some glue on the areas where my bottom piece would touch, and I'm simply going to drop this on top like that. And I'm going to let this sit until I know that it is secure. And now it's time to put the top piece. So I'm going to again add the glue wherever my top piece would touch. And drop that piece right in place. So now I'm going to let this sit for a while, and the next part will be to decorate it with our paper. Okay, so I'm back, and my box has had time to dry, like the glue has had time to dry, and it's nice and sturdy. As you can see, I can move it around. And so now we're going to start covering the top and the sides with some pattern paper. Now, I brought in the gorgeous Bohemian Bazaar collection by Graphic 45, and it's just a matter of choosing the actual papers that I want to use. Now, there's one thing that I noticed. This unit is larger than 12 inches, and of course, as we all know, pattern papers don't usually go over 12 inches. So I'm left with a little border on each side. But that's not a problem, because one of the papers has these beautiful strips of paper that I can use to cover the gap. Like the name Bohemian Bazaar. So I might just isolate this portion here and put it on top. And I'm going to mark from where I want to start cutting up to where I want to stop, and that's all I need to do. I don't really need to measure anything, and that's all I need to do. So let's bring this baby here. So now I can glue this down with, again, the PVA glue. So I'm going to put glue all over this piece. Well, I'm gonna have to, I can't move this piece once it's down, so I'll just have to clean my mat after. And then I'm gonna put a bit of glue here just so that I have some wiggle room. That's gonna do is I'm gonna be able to move it around and play with it, because I have wet on wet surface. So I'm gonna do that. like this, and I'm going to bring in my paper and line this up. So when you do something like this, you just have to make sure that you put glue right up to the edges of your paper. And by adding that extra glue on the box, it's going to have better results. Your paper will be glued down properly. So before I do anything to it, before I start cutting here, I'm going to let this dry so that I don't move it by accident when I start cutting. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be right back to cut it. My piece is dry now, so I brought in my cutting mat, and I can flip this over, and using my X-Acto knife, I'm going to start cutting. There we go. Now, because I didn't have a sharp blade, it kind of went up into the wood, so I'm going to have to paint over this little portion here, but it's all good. So now I have a beautiful straight edge. I'm going to do the same on the other side. There we go. So our top is almost completed. Now I'm going to bring in that paper that has the stripes, and I was trying to figure out which one I would use, and really you can use any of these because they're just all gorgeous. I could go for a more unified look and use that blue polka dotted strip that mimics sort of like the background here, and that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So I'll take this one here, I'll just cut this up with my trimmer, and then I'll add that at each end. This. Well, I'm going to repeat the same process on both hands here. Alright, so I have finished covering my box, and I'll just give you a look of all the sides. This is the back, and what I did is I continued the border that I had put down here right up to the back. Obviously I was going to add some here, but I decided not to. I think it just looks nice like that. So these are the two sides. What I want to do now is I want to take the Tim Holtz sanding block, and I want to distress the edges. That is so that I don't see any of the cut edges here. I find that when you go around with a sanding block, it gives a nicer look. So, and for this step, you need to proceed very delicately because you don't want to unglue the paper that you've so lovingly put down. So I'm going to start here from the front, and I'll try to give you a close-up here. So basically, I'm just going kind of like at a 45-degree angle, and I'm just going very, very gently, just to reveal the white of the paper. I don't know if you can see that. Not sure if the camera is going to pick it up. So, and what happens to you is that when you run your hands all around the box, you'll feel that it's a lot smoother. You won't have any of these rough edges catching. So I'm going to go around the box, the whole box, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So here's my box all sanded, and here's a close-up. So as you can see, I was able to reveal the white of the paper, and I think it makes for a better finish. It kind of contrasts between the paint and the paper, especially when you have two papers that meet. It's very smooth, nothing catches, so I kind of like that. So now that we have the box all put together and decorated, we're going to start on the drawers. Here's what each of the drawer looks like. There are 6 of them, and the way to fold them is very easy. There's a side that is very smooth. This is the inside of each of the drawer. On the other side, there is a cut on the 4 sides. Let me just show you from up close. And all you need to do is just fold these down. They're not cut all the way through. And there's your drawer. Now you need to glue each of the drawer like so. But before we go ahead and do that, I want to decorate the front of each of the drawers. I'm not going to bother with the sides or even painting them. I'm just going to decorate what's going to show. So I have chosen my papers, and I'm going to start with this one here. It's a piece that I have left over. And to cover this up is very easy. You just have to glue this down, reverse it, cut around it, and you're done. And I think I'm going to put the glue just on the piece of chipboard. It's just going to be easier that way. Then I'm just going to put my paper down here. Make sure that I have it all the way up to the edges without going over. And I'm just going to press, and then I'm going to cut around it. So I have my X-Acto knife here. I'm just going to cut this. And there we go. I might even go around with the sanding block around the edges just to smooth everything out like I did on the actual unit. I've covered up my 6 drawers and I sanded the edges just like I did for the our unit. And I have these drawer pulls. They're called metal label pulls by KaiserCraft, and I'm going to put one on each of the drawer facade. So to install this is very easy. I'm just going to center that around that semicircle and just eyeball it. I'm not going to bother measuring. I have my paper piercer here. I'm going to make 2 holes on each side, and then I'm going to pierce them all the way through. And I'm going to grab 2 of the brads and secure this. Like so. Open the prongs in the back. Like this. So obviously I need to do this for every drawer, but before I go ahead and finish those, I'm going to show you how to assemble the box. I'm going to get my trusty PVA glue again. So these 2 ends will meet like that. So I'm going to add the glue like this. I'm going to add the glue here and here. And I will hold this in place. Until it is set. And then I'll do the same on this side. I just want to make sure that I'm not gluing over the paper. And it doesn't take long. That glue sets pretty quickly. So I'll come back when all of the drawers are put together. Okay, so it's now time to put all our little drawers in our box. And so here they are. They fit quite nicely. And you may have noticed that I painted the edges, the two ends here and one at the bottom here because it shows. Alright, so it's finished. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is that the way I covered each of these drawers is a simple way. There's another way to do it. You can assemble the box, meaning gluing all the sides, and then take a strip of paper and glue it all the way around, making sure that the seam is in the back. This way you won't have to add any paint to the raw edges, but I just wanted to cover the front. I wanted to do the simple way. That is entirely up to you what you decide to do, obviously. But I like the sides painted. I think it sort of ties into the skeleton of the box. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to add some flowers onto on the top. And for this I'm using, sorry I took them out of the package, but they're the Donna Downey's Studios line of flowers from her Poppies and Peonies collection, and these ones are the yellow one. I will list all the supplies at the end of this video, but I'm just going to hot glue them. I want to add a big one here off to on this side, and then I'll add a big and a small one on that side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck in the yellow, not the yellow, but the small one, kind of like underneath here, so that I get a little bit of dimension on this side. And there we go. So we have quite a few of these units, different models, I mean, and we keep getting them all the time. I know that we've just received smaller units. They look like little curio cabinets. They're really cute. So anyways, I encourage you to come and check them out in the store. As you can see, they're really not difficult to put together. They're just maybe a little time consuming, but for a piece like this, you don't mind taking your time. It's something that you'll keep for a long time. So as usual, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I will see you next time. Bye!